Hey, 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 welcome back, you guys. I am so glad you're here today. For those of you who are new, hi, I'm Alice, and this is your space for real, honest, no fluff tarot readings. So here's what we're looking at today. We're asking the cards a very specific question. What truth has he figured out about you right now? And I want to be really clear about what I mean by figured out. I don't mean he had a passing thought. I don't mean he sort of, maybe sensed something. I mean, he actually got there. He arrived. That moment where something clicks in a man's brain and he goes, oh, I see. That moment. That's what we're reading today. And please drop a comment and let me know how this lands for you. I read every single one and it genuinely makes my day. All right, let's get into it. So, right off the bat, first card comes out reversed. And it is the High Priestess, reversed High Priestess. Y'all, we are starting with a bang here. So when the High Priestess shows up in a position about what someone has understood or realized about you, that is always, always significant. This is the card of mystery, of depth, of things that cannot be fully known, no matter how hard you try. And the fact that she came out reversed, that is not a bad thing, not even a little bit. What it's telling us is that this man has run headfirst into something that completely knocked him off his usual way of thinking. His whole framework got shaken up. He has realized that you are a mystery. And not in a she's playing games kind of way. I want to be super clear about that. You're not doing anything on purpose. You're not strategically being mysterious. You're just you. You are a woman with an incredibly rich inner world, with layers upon layers to who you are. And he has finally started to feel that. He's grown into that understanding. Let me give you an analogy because I think this really captures it. You know how sometimes you pick up a book and you think you know what it's about? Like you read the back cover, you see the genre, you think, okay, I got it. And then you start reading and you realize pretty quickly that this is nothing like what you expected. There are so many layers, so many things going on beneath the surface. And you find yourself going back and rereading passages because you keep catching new things you missed the first time. That is exactly what is happening with him right now. Because here's the thing, and this is important. At some point, he thought he had you all figured out. He had that very typical, very male energy of, yep, I know her, I've got her pegged. He thought he knew how you'd react, what you'd say, what you wanted. That whole, I've read her attitude. And now, that whole house of cards has come crashing down. Because every single time he thinks he's figured you out again, something new surfaces, a new layer, a new angle, a new depth he didn't even know was there. And reversed High Priestess is also telling us this. He feels like there's information about you that is just not accessible to him. Like there's a door he can't open, not because you locked it on purpose, but because you are simply that kind of woman. Not everyone gets access. Not everyone grows enough to get there. Oh, look at this card. Isn't she gorgeous? 9 of Pentacles. A woman in a beautiful garden dressed in this rich flowing robe, a falcon perched on her hand. She is completely self-sufficient, independent, confident. She doesn't need a single thing from anyone. That is exactly how he sees you right now. And that combination of being drawn to you and being a little bit intimidated by you, that is very real for him. Here's something I see all the time in my practice, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this from the other side. Men get very comfortable with the idea that women need them, need their attention, their money, their status, their presence. It gives them this sense of being important, being necessary, being in control. And then they meet a woman like you, a woman who is genuinely, authentically living her own life, who isn't blowing up his phone, who isn't sitting around waiting for him to show up, who has her own interests, her own goals, her own whole entire world going on. And he looks at you and realizes she's not going to become dependent on me. She's not going to need me to feel okay. Everyone else gets hooked on her and she just keeps being herself. 9 of Pentacles is also a card of financial independence, career success, and real-world authority. Maybe you're doing really well professionally. Maybe you've got a reputation in your field. People respect you. You've built something solid for yourself. Even if he technically has a higher title or makes more money on paper, he feels like you are absolutely his equal. You're driven, you're established, you've got your stuff together. And that combination, the High Priestess and Nine of Pentacles, is so telling. A mysterious, deep, independent woman. A woman you can't buy, can't tame, can't fully figure out. That is the truth that has landed for him. That is what he's finally seeing clearly. He's realized you are a gravitational force. Not just for him, like for people in general, but for him specifically, this is a revelation. Because for a while there, he either wasn't paying attention or he just didn't want to admit it. Okay, so this is really interesting because temperance is all about balance, stillness, calm. You've got the angel pouring water between two cups. Everything is smooth. Everything is measured. Nothing is rushed or dramatic. And if you were to look at your situation from the outside right now, that is exactly what you'd see. Quiet, still, no movement, nothing happening on your end, nothing happening on his end, just this complete silence between you two. But here's the thing, yes, and this is the paradox of this card in this particular reading. That outer calm has absolutely nothing to do with what's actually going on inside. On the surface, it looks like still water. Underneath, completely different story for both of you. On your end, that silence is exhaustion. It's not peace. It's not acceptance. It's not some Zen state of being. It is bone-deep tiredness. You are tired of his hot and cold, tired of waiting, tired of hoping, tired of reacting. And that exhaustion has slowly, gradually caused your interest to start fading. Not all at once, though. It's been like a fire that nobody's been adding wood to. It just slowly, quietly burns lower and lower. On his end, though, his silence is something completely different. His silence is not fading. His silence is building. It's like a volcano that looks like just a regular mountain from the outside, but inside, everything is churning and heating up. Temperance in this reading is showing me a very clear picture. You two are moving in opposite directions. You are slowly pulling back, going still. He is slowly catching fire. And it's all happening at the same time in the same silence. And then we flip the next card and, oh, wow, the devil. Yeah. Right after quiet, peaceful temperance, we get the devil. Now, don't freak out on me, okay? I know this card makes people nervous, but in the context of feelings and attraction, the devil is actually one of the most honest cards in the deck. This is passion. This is obsession. This is a pull so strong that a person literally cannot break free from it even when they really, really want to. That is what is happening inside him right now. Outside, silence, temperance. Inside, the devil. Fire, passion, full-on obsession with you. He cannot stop thinking about you. He cannot cross you off his list. He has tried, think so more than once. He's told himself, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm turning the page. I'm moving on. And every single time, that period at the end of the sentence turns into a comma because you are his devil, and I mean that in the best possible way. You are his pull, his fixation, his thing he can't shake. The devil also speaks to this feeling of being chained. If you look at the weight imagery, two figures chained to the devil's throne. But here's the thing about those chains. They're loose. They could slip right off. He is choosing to stay chained. He is holding on to those chains himself because letting go means losing something that feels essential to him. And what's really significant here is that he's aware of this now. He's recognized that this attachment isn't weakness. It's not some embarrassing dependency. It's something real, something that's basically telling him, hey, this person matters. King of Cups. Oh, okay. Now we're talking. The King of Cups is a man who feels deeply. This isn't a guy who's just kind of into you or mildly interested. He is in love, genuinely, seriously, deeply in love. He is in awe of you. That's the word I keep coming back to, awe. He has bowed his head, metaphorically speaking. He's acknowledged it. He's accepted it. He understands that you are unlike anyone he has ever encountered. And this isn't just something he's saying. This is a real internal state that he may not have even fully admitted out loud to himself yet, but it is absolutely living inside him. He did not see this coming. He did not expect a woman to get to him like this. He did not expect to fall this hard, this deep, with no off switch. He thought he had the whole thing under control. He thought he was managing it. And then he looked up one day and realized, nope, you have been living in his head, in his heart. and his thoughts for a long time now. King of Cups combined with the Devil up that is a powerful, powerful combination. Deep love and obsessive passion at the same time. This is not a casual thing. This is not something that's going to just fade out on its own. And here's what matters. He has come to this realization himself. Right now, in this season, he has grown into understanding his own feelings. Before, maybe he was running from them, telling himself it would pass, convincing himself it wasn't that serious. But now, he's looking at it honestly. And he knows this is not passing. This is only getting stronger. Six of Wands, victory, triumph. The rider on horseback with the victory wreath. You are on a pedestal in his eyes. He puts you above every other woman in his life. You are the one, the special one, the one he can't reach. He looks up at you, and not in a self-deprecating way, but in pure admiration. But here's the interesting thing about this card in your situation. That pedestal, it does absolutely nothing for you. And I mean that honestly. You may feel it, or you may even know it, that you're the one he singles out, that he admires you, that you hold a special place for him. But it doesn't warm you up the way it should, because you're tired, because what you actually need isn't admiration from a distance. What you need is something real, something close, something warm. Six of Wands can also point to some kind of triangle or competition energy. Maybe you're aware that you have an advantage over other women in his life. Maybe you know, even if it's not obvious from the outside, that you're number one in his heart. And even that doesn't bring you joy, because winning a competition you never signed up for isn't really winning. That's the gap here. He worships you, yeah, and you just want someone to show up. He looks at you like you're a goddess, and you want a real human being standing next to you. That disconnect between what he's offering and what you actually need is very real and very present. Six of Cups, children, flowers, that warm golden nostalgia energy. Sweet, gentle, a little bittersweet. This is the longing for what used to be between you. And both of you have it, but in very different ways. For him, it's sharp and alive. He goes back to those memories constantly. The times when things were good between you, the specific moments, the words, the way things felt. Those memories are precious to him. Here's an image that keeps coming through for me. Now, he looks at your photos. Not on his phone, though. He keeps that stuff hidden from anyone who might see it. But the photos exist, maybe printed out, maybe tucked away in an album somewhere. Maybe he found them through social media and saved them somewhere private. That's the energy I'm getting. He hides everything connected to you, his feelings, his thoughts, his longing, from his friends, his family, anyone in his life. Whether they know about you or not, he keeps what's happening inside him completely to himself. This is his private thing, his secret. The Six of Cups is also telling us that he understands. Some of what existed between you can't be recreated exactly as it was. Time has passed, things have shifted, but the desire to get back even a piece of that warmth, that is very much alive in him. He thinks about it. And for those of you who are looking at a husband or a long-term partner, that time you shared together was genuinely one of the best chapters of both your lives. Even with the hard parts, even with the arguments, the overall picture of that time together is painted in warm colors. He remembers that. He holds on to it. Now, I want to talk about something really interesting that the cards are showing us. I sometimes leave a face-down card in a reading, a card I don't flip over. It represents closed information, things that are still in process, things not yet revealed, and this face-down card here is incredibly telling. It confirms the central theme of this entire reading. He has not figured you out, and I mean that in the most fascinating way possible. The more he learns, the less he understands. Picture this. He starts gathering information about you. He's scrolling your social media. He's asking around. He's replaying every conversation you've ever had. He's analyzing your behavior. Logic says the more data you collect, the clearer the picture gets. But with you, it works completely backwards. The more he finds out, the more questions he has, the more confusing it gets, the further away from understanding you he actually is. That is the paradox of the High Priestess. That is just your nature. You are a woman who cannot be decoded through logic, analysis, or data collection. The only way to truly know you is to feel you, to be present with you, to open yourself up. And maybe then you'll open up in return. But he hasn't gotten there yet. He's still trying to figure you out like a puzzle. And every time he thinks he's found a piece, it turns out to be from a completely different puzzle. You are a blank card to him. Guess who I am? Read me if you can. And nothing works. Not his connections, not his money, not his logic, not his gut instinct. Nothing. And that impossibility, that is what is driving him absolutely crazy in the best way. That is what makes you such a powerful challenge for him. Knight of Cups. Young knight on horseback, holding a cup out in front of him. Moving forward, but slowly, thoughtfully. This is the card of someone who is preparing to act, who is working up to a decision, who is moving towards something, but taking his time. That is exactly what his headspace looks like right now. He is thinking about reaching out, texting, calling, showing up somehow. He's been sitting with this plan, and he is almost there. You know how many times he has mentally walked away from you? A lot. He's told himself, okay, that's it, I'm done, I'm moving forward. And every single time he comes back, at least in his mind, because he can't help it, because something keeps pulling him back. Knight of Cups is also the card of romantic intention. This is a man who is approaching a woman with his heart open, who is ready to do something about it. Not just a casual, hey, what's up text, but something with actual intention behind it. A real desire to get clarity, to move things forward, to get to a new level. And here's what's really important to understand in this reading. He needs to be the one to make this move on his own. If you reach out first, it won't land the same way, because the moment you do, the tension releases for him and he can slip right back into his back and forth. But if he gets there himself, if he reaches out on his own terms, that is a completely different conversation. That is him making a conscious, intentional choice. Two of Wands, a man standing on a balcony, holding a globe, looking out at the horizon, a choice in front of him. Two paths, two options. This is where his biggest internal battle lives. He is at a crossroads. On one side, you. On the other side, something else. Maybe another woman, maybe his career, maybe just fear. Fear of real intimacy, fear of being vulnerable, fear that if he truly opens up to you, he'll lose control of himself. So he stands there looking out at the horizon. Can't choose, wants both, wants you, and also wants to keep his comfortable, familiar, predictable life exactly as it is. But Two of Wands is also telling us that he can already see the possibility. He is already looking in your direction, with interest, with desire, with intention. That globe in his hands, those are his plans, his daydreams about how things could be, and you are in those plans. You are part of how he pictures his future. He just hasn't taken the step yet. He's still standing there looking, but that step is coming. The Star. This card is about you, about how he sees you, how he feels you. The star is hope, light, inspiration. It's the woman kneeling by the water, pouring water onto the earth and back into the water, nourishing everything, giving life to both the ground and the sky. It's the image of a woman who brings light wherever she goes. That is exactly how he sees you. You were his source of inspiration. When you were around, he felt alive, he felt motivated, he wanted to grow, to push forward, to become more. And when you were no longer in his life, something in him went dark. The drive disappeared, the excitement disappeared. Life just kind of stopped. He gets that now. He understands that you were his engine, that he was moving forward with you in his life, and maybe without even realizing it at the time. And without you, he's standing still. And that realization is huge. It's not just, I miss her. It's, I understand now that you were a part of me, a part of my life, and without you, something essential is gone. The Star combined with Six of Cups. That is such a tender combination. Longing for a bright past and the understanding that the light in that past was connected to you. Ace of Swords. A sword cutting through a crown. Clarity. Truth, breakthrough. That is exactly what happened in his mind. A breakthrough, a moment of absolute clarity. He finally understood something he'd been avoiding for a long time. He realized that you are independent, genuinely, truly independent. Not she pretends she doesn't need help independent, but she actually does not need anyone independent. And that both amazes him and scares him a little bit. because he is used to his money, his status, his attention being his trump cards. He's used to women being glad to have him around, glad to receive what he offers. And then there's you. You are not going to be with him just because he has money or status. You will be with him if and only if you want to be, only if he actually interests you as a human being, only if there's something real between you. And this Ace of Swords moment, this is when that landed for him. Crystal clear, no illusions. She's not going to become dependent on me. She's not going to stick around for the wrong reasons. She is her own person. And that makes her even more magnetic and even more out of reach in his eyes. Page of Cups. Page of Cups, a young figure holding a cup with a little fish peeking out of it. This is the card of messages, of unexpected communications, of something that comes up from the depths. And here is such an interesting moment in this reading. The cards are showing me that something you said to him, something you told him or wrote to him at some point, has just hit differently for him now. He remembered something. Maybe it was a long time ago. Maybe it was a long message or just a throwaway comment you made in passing. Maybe you signed something together, some kind of agreement, or just a conversation that seemed totally ordinary at the time. He didn't pay much attention to it back then. It went in one ear and out the other. He wasn't ready to receive it the way you meant it. But now, it clicked. Right now in this season, he remembered it and he got it. He finally understood what you were trying to say. He finally understood the depth of what you were communicating. And here's the wild part. You've probably forgotten all about it. You don't even think about it anymore. For you, it's ancient history, water under the bridge. But he remembered it, and he's been sitting with it. That's the time paradox here. You said it, he didn't hear it. Time passed, and now he hears it. But you've already moved on and don't even remember saying it. Page of Cups also speaks to sincerity, openness, purity of heart. It's telling us that whatever message you sent him back then, it was genuine. It came from a real place. And that's exactly why it didn't disappear. It just waited for the right time to be received. The Lovers. This card is about choice. The choice that is sitting right in front of him right now, pressing on him hard. Now, the Lovers in the Waite deck is not just a romance card. First and foremost, it is a card about decision making. The imagery shows a man between two women with an angel above them. This is the moment when you have to choose, when you can no longer have it both ways. And that is exactly where he is. He is facing a choice. Maybe it's between you and another woman. Maybe it's between you and his comfortable, familiar life. Maybe it's between taking a risk and showing up, or continuing to stay silent and suffer quietly. Before, he may have told himself that you brought something negative into his life, that it was better to keep his distance, that things with you were complicated, unpredictable, hard to navigate. But now the question has shifted for him. Said, wait, is that actually true? What if it's the opposite? What if you're actually the good thing? What if you're the one who brings something real and meaningful into his life? That dilemma is sitting right in front of him. It hasn't been resolved yet. But the fact that he's even asking the question, that is a big deal. Because before he wasn't asking, he was just leaving. Now he's standing there thinking. And that is a good sign. The Lovers combined with Knight of Cups tells me he is moving toward a decision. Slowly, but he's moving. And that decision is going to be in your direction. 8 of Cups, a figure walking away in the night, leaving 8 cups behind. Heading into the mountains, into the unknown. This is the card of walking away, of searching for something more, of someone who has realized that what they have is not what they actually need. And here's the really interesting twist, because in the context of this reading, this card is saying he has realized that you have stolen his heart. Not literally, of course, but in the sense that a part of him is with you. It left with you. And without that part, he cannot move forward the way he needs to. He looks at those 8 cups, everything he has in his life, the job, the status, the money, the people, the routine. It's all there. It's all in its place. But something is missing, something important, and that something is you. He has realized that without you, life feels incomplete. The spark is gone. The energy is gone. The desire to push forward is gone. And this isn't just sadness or boredom. This is a very specific feeling of emptiness where something alive and real used to be. 8 of Cups is also telling us that he has probably tried to fill that emptiness with other things. Other people, other activities, throwing himself into work, burying himself in work specifically so he doesn't have to think about you, From the outside, it looks like he's moved on, he's living his life, he's fine. But the reality is, he is living inside thoughts of you. Everything he does is an attempt to not think about you, and it is not working. Ace of Wands, a hand reaching out of a cloud, holding a wand with leaves flying off in every direction. This is the card of beginnings, of new energy, of I am ready. That is exactly what is happening with him right now. He has ripened. He is ready to make a move. Not just thinking about it, not just daydreaming, actually ready. The energy is there. The intention is there. The desire to do something is there. Ace of Wands is one of the most powerful go cards in the deck. This isn't the timid page who's still just thinking. This isn't the slow-moving knight who's barely trotting along. This is an impulse, a decision. The moment when someone says to themselves, enough waiting, it's time. And that moment is arriving for him right now in this season. He has gotten to the point where he's ready to text, to call, to show up somehow. He's been carrying this plan around for a while, and now he's ready to actually do something with it. You know, I see this pattern all the time in my practice. A man goes quiet for a long time, he drags his feet, he goes back and forth, he can't make up his mind, and then one day, something shifts, something clicks, and he moves. That is exactly the energy right now. Something snapped into place inside him, and now he is moving toward you. Four of Swords, a knight lying in a tomb, hands folded, 3 swords on the wall, one beneath him. This is the card of pause, of rest before action, of someone who has stopped to gather themselves before moving forward. So there is a small obstacle here, not a huge one, not an insurmountable one, but it's there. Something might delay his reaching out. Maybe he sends a message and you don't see it right away. Maybe he calls and you miss it. And he might take that personally, decide you don't want to hear from him and go back into his shell. Or he might just slip back into his own indecision, tell himself, not yet, it's not the right time, put it off again. That is exactly what Four of Swords is about here. A pause that could stretch longer than it needs to, but here's what's important. This card is temporary. This is not a dead end. This is not the end of the road. It's just a pause. The knight is lying down, but he's alive, he's resting. But he will get up, and when he gets up, he will move forward. So the guidance here is don't rush it. Don't reach out first. Don't push. Don't create pressure. Give him the space to come out of this pause on his own, and he will. The cards are very clear on that. Knight of Pentacles, a knight on a heavy horse, standing still, looking down at the pentacle in his hand. This is the card of slow, steady, deliberate movement. A person who doesn't rush but doesn't stop either, who does everything thoughtfully, carefully, reliably. That is exactly how his actions are going to look. Not impulsive, not a 2 a.m. Hey, I've been thinking about you, text sent on a wave of emotion. Deliberate, measured, intentional. He is going to think carefully about how to reach out, what to say, how to say it in a way that doesn't make him look weak or desperate, because that matters to him. Doing this with dignity, doing it right. Knight of Pentacles is also telling us that his intentions are serious. This isn't a, let me just throw something out there and see what happens situation. This is purposeful. He wants to get clarity. He wants to move things to a new level. And the combination of Ace of Wands and Knight of Pentacles is really interesting. The energy and the intention are both there. The decision has been made, but the action itself is going to be slow and careful. Don't expect a midnight text tonight, but in the near future, yes, he will show up. Putting it all together. Okay, let's bring this home because this reading is so rich, so layered, and I want to make sure we're seeing the full picture. So, what has he figured out about you right now? Number one, and this is the big one, he has figured out that you are a mystery, that you are a woman who cannot be fully known. And the more he tries to understand you, the more questions he ends up with. You are a blank card to him. Read me if you can. And he can't. And that is driving him absolutely wild. Number two, he has understood your depth. You are not a simple woman. You have a rich inner world. You have layers. You cannot be read in one sitting. He used to think he had you figured out. Now he knows, not even close. Number three, he has understood your independence. You do not need him. You are living your life beautifully on your own. His money, his status, his attention, none of it is going to keep you if you don't want to stay. And that both amazes him and unsettles him. Number 4, he has understood that he is in love. For real. Deeply. Seriously. This is not a crush. This is not just attraction. This is something real that he cannot shake no matter how hard he tries. Number 5, he has understood that you have stolen a piece of his heart, a piece of his soul, that without you, something essential is missing from his life. The drive, the energy, the desire to move forward, all of that was connected to you. And without you, there's just this hollow space where something alive used to be. Number 6, he has understood that he cannot walk away for good. He has tried so many times, and every single time he comes back, at least in his mind, and for some of you, literally in real life too, because he can't, because something holds him, and that something is love. And number 7, he has ripened into action. He is ready to show up, to reach out, to do something. Within the next week or so, that is most likely when it happens. Now, I want to take a moment to speak directly to you, because this reading isn't only about him, it's showing me you too. And what I see on your end matters just as much. You are tired, honey. You are genuinely deeply tired. Tired of his back and forth, tired of his inaction, tired of this silence between you. Your interest has been fading, not because your feelings disappeared, but because you ran out of steam waiting, ran out of hope, ran out of patience for the uncertainty. And I want you to hear this. That is completely okay. That is honest. That is your truth. You are a human being and you are allowed to be exhausted. But here is what else the cards are showing me about you. You are a strong woman, a genuinely deep woman, a real woman. And the fact that he has finally figured this out, that is not a coincidence. That is a direct result of who you are. You were not performing mystery. You just are mysterious. You were not faking independence. You just are independent. You were not playing games. You were just living your life. And that is your power. That is what pulls him so hard. That is what makes you both out of reach and irresistible to him at the same time. So if and when he does show up, and the cards are saying he will, you do not need to come running. You do not need to rush. You do not need to pretend like nothing happened or act like everything is fine when it isn't. You are allowed to move at your own pace. You are allowed to have your own terms. You are allowed to hold your own boundaries. You are the high priestess. You are 9 of Pentacles. You are the star. You are a woman who cannot be fully understood. And that, my love, is not a flaw. That is your gift. And that, you guys, is what the cards have to say today. This reading came out so full, so layered. We've got his feelings, his thoughts, his back and forth, his readiness to finally do something. And we've got your exhaustion, your strength, your depth. It's all here. The main message of today's reading is this. He has figured out that you are not the kind of woman who can be understood, tamed, or forgotten. You are a mystery he is going to be trying to solve for the rest of his life, and that is exactly what makes you the most powerful pull he has ever felt. Drop a comment and let me know how this landed for you. I genuinely love reading what you all have to say. Some of you are going to recognize your situation completely. Some of you will connect with just certain parts, and some of you might find something in here that surprises you. Every story is different, and the cards always find a way to speak to exactly what needs to be heard. And a huge, huge thank you to everyone who watched all the way to the end. Seriously, your support means everything to me. The likes, the comments, the shares, all of it keeps this channel going and keeps me doing what I love. Take care of yourselves out there, love on yourselves, and remember, you deserve the real thing, not admiration from a distance, not secret feelings kept in silence. The real thing, right there next to you, every single day, sending you all so much love. See you in the next one.